Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows where things are going wrong for Ruben Amorim at Manchester United and doesn't believe it's fully his fault. The Red Devils have been woeful since the Portuguese coach was appointed as Erik Ten Hag's successor at Old Trafford. He has won just 5 of his 16 Premier League games so far, leaving United sitting 14th in the table. A number of players have struggled to fit into Amorim's stubborn 3-4-2-1 formation so far, and Solskjaer believes the issues start from the squad being made up of stars being signed under a host of previous managers. Asked if there is too much of a sacking culture at Old Trafford by the Athletic, the Norwegian replied, "That's for the people at the top of United. But an issue is that the manager plays with the previous manager's players. I just remember a great time at United apart from the last 6 weeks. Great people. And the culture is in the people. Going back to United was like going back to my family, like I'd never been away. But Besiktas also feels like a family club, with respect for each other. There are members of staff who've been here for 10, 20, 30 years. Solskjaer, 52, spent nearly 3 years at Old Trafford, going trophyless before he was eventually sacked in November 2021, following a shocking defeat to Watford. And while things went wrong for Solskjaer with United, he remains proud of the work he did at the club, given the challenges he faced. Those last 6 weeks were hard, I can't deny that, but we were also top of our Champions League group, Solskjaer added. It was the 2 games against City and Watford that did it. But I maintain that finishing 2nd and 3rd in my 2 full seasons wasn't bad given the level in the Premier League. We also reached a European final, but I see what Jose Mourinho means when he says that his best achievement was getting his United side to 2nd in the league. Back to the present day, under fire Amorim has a chance to make it back-to-back victories this season over the coming week. United take on Real Sociedad in the Europa League on Thursday, ahead of a clash with Arsenal in the Premier League a few days later. Manchester United avoided serious embarrassment on Wednesday night as they edged out Ipswich Town. A 3-2 win at Old Trafford kept the heat off Ruben Amorim temporarily. A loss would have seen the team hit a new low, but their attention can now turn to the FA Cup. The tournament, where they are holders, is one of their 2 remaining hopes of landing silverware this term. They will face Fulham, who they beat just weeks ago, with another success potentially improving morale in what has been one of the club's worst seasons for decades. Amorim is not without his issues, though the attitude of Alejandro Garnacho has been called into question, with his manager ready to discuss it with the winger. Roy Keane has hammered captain Bruno Fernandes, as well as his teammates, labelling them bluffers as he let off steam in a full-blown rant. The Portuguese star has long been a divisive figure, with his quality twinned with an attitude that rubs people up the wrong way. Despite Fernandes' individual efforts, he's not been able to deliver huge amount of success, and Keane is not a fan of some of his antics. He said on the Stick to Football podcast, "I see fans at matches and they're singing for Bruno. I see these boys and I think you're imposters." Ian Wright defended Fernandes, claiming he's led by example and suggesting that United may be in relegation battle if it wasn't for their skipper. However, that led to a fiery response from Keane, who said, "Talent is not enough. You keep going back to talent. Bruno's a talented player, but it's not enough." Liverpool icon Michael Owen believes that Garnacho is dispensable in Manchester. The Argentine made headlines on Wednesday evening, storming down the tunnel after being hauled off when his side went down to 10 men. His future at Old Trafford has been questioned in recent months, and he was linked with a move to Napoli, but United placed a £60 million price tag on him, and the Italians opted against pursuing the deal. Owen, who also played on the red side of Manchester, doesn't believe that the Argentinian has done enough to make himself integral to Amorim's plans. At the moment, he's not getting into the Manchester United side, Owen said. If he was that good, Ruben Amorim would consider him to be undroppable, even though he has been reportedly misbehaving. The club have made 5 of their young stars part of their first team plans under Amorim. Chido Obi, Sekou Kone, Eli Harrison, Jack Morehouse and Tyler Fredrickson have all been recognised on the back of Manchester United's matchday programmes. United have needed to call upon their academy to help name their matchday squads due to the injury issues at Old Trafford. 7 of the club's young prospects were named on United's bench against Tottenham earlier in February. Several weeks on, and only Obi and 19-year-old goalkeeper Harrison were required for the win over Ipswich. Harrison was recently recalled from a non-league loan spell, and the Red Devils rejected loan inquiries for him in January as they wanted to further involve him in first-team training. Lenny Yoro may still be 19, but showed his leadership qualities in a moment of hardship for a Manchester United teammate. The French teenager was only signed last summer after the Red Devils beat Real Madrid to his signature. His appearances have been limited since the move, however, with injuries restricting his opportunities. He was, though, given an opportunity to start as United took on struggling Ipswich at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. But less than 5 minutes into the encounter, the visitors found themselves in front thanks to a catastrophic error. Patrick Dorgu, signed in January for £30 million, was attempting to shield the ball back into the United area, only for goalkeeper Andre Onana to meet him at the corner of the box. Rather than clear the ball, though, Dorgu contrived to knock it past the on-rushing Onana, leaving Jadon Philogene with the easiest of chances to open the scoring. Dorgu stood disconsolate as Ipswich ran off to celebrate, but he wasn't alone for long as Yoro ran to his defensive colleague, embraced him, and offered some words of encouragement. There was more of an inquest in the television studios, however, with the suggestion it was actually Onana at fault for the blunder. Working for TNT Sports, Robbie Savage said, "I'd love to hear Rio's Ferdinand view as a defender in that situation. The defender has got it under control. I don't think there is a reason why Onana should come out there. He should be talking, just lay it back to him on his right foot, then he can clear it. I don't know why he is coming. The defender is in control. Onana, stay in your goal." Fortunately for United, they quickly turned the game around through an own goal from Sam Morsy and a Matthijs de Ligt strike. However, Dorgu's 45 minutes of personal misery was compounded before the half-time whistle when he was shown red for a horror tackle on Omari Hutchinson. Dorgu initially escaped punishment before VAR advised referee Darren England to re-watch the incident on the pitchside monitor. After doing so, Dorgu was given his marching orders. Ferdinand said on the tackle, "It is actually a bad touch from Omari Hutchinson in the first place, and Patrick Dorgu is quick to challenge, but it is reckless. It is a straight leg challenge, and I don't think there can be any complaints." And Ipswich needed just a few minutes to capitalise on their numerical advantage as Philogene scored his second of the game in first half injury time. After the break, United managed to get themselves back in front as they scored from a set piece for the third time during the contest, this time through Harry Maguire. Manchester United overcame a horror start to beat Premier League strugglers Ipswich and end their awful run. The hosts endured a nightmare opening few minutes as horrible miscommunication between Patrick Dorgu and Andre Onana gifted Ipswich the lead. But United regrouped and soon found themselves ahead, thanks to a Sam Morsy own goal and a strike from Matthijs de Ligt. But things then got tricky for the Red Devils as Patrick Dorgu was sent off for an awful challenge on Omari Hutchinson. Philogene then levelled matters once again moments before the break. Harry Maguire restored United's lead only moments after the restart from yet another set-piece, securing a chaotic victory. Take a look at all of the talking points from Old Trafford. In a season that has been strewn with a host of incomprehensible errors, the worst of them was potentially witnessed on Wednesday as Ipswich claimed the lead. January signing Dorgu attempted to deal with a long ball by playing it back to Onana. Unfortunately, the Cameroonian was far out of his goal as Dorgu's pass dribbled past him and into the path of Philogene. The Ipswich forward gleefully accepted the ball and tapped it into the empty net. It was an error that many in Old Trafford could simply not believe, albeit it is becoming less and less of a surprise as a calamitous season for the Red Devils continues. Best as he did at Everton, Bruno Fernandes gave United a route back into the game from a free kick. Alejandro Garnacho was hauled down on the left, and the Portuguese playmaker stepped up. His wicked cross caused havoc in the Ipswich penalty area and thundered into the back of the net via Sam Morsy. Fernandes then earned another assist as his corner eventually found the net via De Ligt. He secured his treble by teeing up United's second-half winner from another corner. It was the sixth consecutive goal United had scored from a Fernandes set-piece. You just have to wonder how much worse United would be without their captain. Given United's woes, they will certainly have been hoping some fortune went their way sooner rather than later, and it did as they went ahead. From a Fernandes corner, Harry Maguire saw a header saved. Diogo Dalot followed up, but was also brilliant denied by Alex Palmer. But the ball fell to De Ligt, who smashed home his second goal of the season. Given United's struggles for goals this season, Amorim will certainly be thrilled to see them coming through other routes. It's very rare things are rosy very long for United, and they got even redder before half-time. Dorgu, at fault for Ipswich's goal, crunched in on Omari Hutchinson near the dugouts, and on second viewing, the Ipswich man was very lucky to avoid a very serious injury. Having only awarded a free kick for the challenge initially, the referee was called over to the VAR area and subsequently sent Dorgu off. And it is very difficult to argue that it was the wrong decision. The defender will now miss the next 3 matches. With the man advantage, Ipswich then hauled themselves level, and it was another goal that was a defensive mess for United. Philogene picked up the ball deep and attempted a teasing ball into the box. Liam Delap stuck out a boot, but failed to get any contact, with Philogene's initial cross nestling into the far corner of Onana's net. After saving United in their FA Cup clash with Leicester a few weeks ago, Maguire was at it again against Ipswich, but this time it came slightly earlier. From another Fernandes corner, the defender ghosted in unmarked towards the penalty spot. He remained unchallenged as the ball reached him, and he practically had to stoop to nod the ball into the net. It was the third set piece that Amorim's side had scored on the evening, and ended up being a priceless one to secure the win.